Welcome to Rebel Life Boxing, where I talk boxing and anything in between. Make sure to catch new videos daily at 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m. Also catch an early bird video weekdays at 6 a.m. Support the channel, and thanks for watching. I want to touch on the Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight again, and why it's very important for boxing to get that fight. 147 is one of the hottest divisions, if not the hottest right now. It's making a lot of noise. Real good up-and-comers. Got two solid pound-for-pound dudes, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. That's the two best welterweights in the world right now. And we look around boxing and we see the other divisions, particularly 135 and up. We see these divisions looking real shaky, man, when it comes to undisputed fights being made, things falling apart. So, it's very important that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence get this done, because a lot of the other divisions, could learn something if these two get in the ring and get it on, man. They can learn a lot. Like, all right, look, these two dudes got it in, man. Look, they made it happen. Now we got to start making these undisputed fights, or the path to undisputed. We got to start getting these fights going. And the reason why, let me just run it down. The reasons why, man, when you look at these divisions, let's start at 130, junior lightweight. Let's start there. We got Jamel Herring as a champ. The IBF is vacant, and then I believe Gervonta Tank Davis. He has a real belt down there at 130, and then Oscar Valdez is the WBC. So we have three champions, not counting the WBO interim. I'm not talking about the real belts. You know what I'm saying? So we got Jamel Herring, the IBF is vacant, and we got Gervonta Tank Davis and Oscar Valdez. So the path for undisputed down at 130 is looking a little. It's far off. It's far off. We're gonna have to have one of these dudes fight for the IBF, so that's gonna throw somebody else in the mix. So we're not looking at 130 having any undisputed fight at 130 anytime soon. Then move up to 135. We got WBO champ Teofimo holds 3 belts: WBO, IBF, and the WBA. And then the only other real champ there is Devin Haney, who holds the WBC. Tank Davis got the regular WBA, which a lot of people doesn't. I mean, he's still a belt, but we're talking about the power belts. Okay, so that is where we stand at 135. That is a close path to being undisputed. Very close to become. That's as far as the belts is concerned. We're not talking political right now in boxing. As far as it comes to who holds the most belts, and it's very easy to get that fight going because of, okay, one boxer got most of the belts, and then the other belt is one other boxer got the other belt. Not 4 other boxers holding on to all these belts, and they got Mandos, and no. So 135, it seems like on that perspective that it's pretty simple, but it's not, because the politics of boxing got in the way, and Teofimo is the one responsible for screwing this up. One thing I'm realizing in boxing is if somebody holds the belt and then a fight, they end up the negotiation for undisputed or whatever, or something goes wrong with him fighting a mandatory. If that screws up even one little bit, man, that could throw off the whole algorithm of the whole division. And that's what's going on with Teofimo Lopez. It was reported that he was supposed to drop his IBF. If he does that, now somebody else got to fight for that IBF. So that throws somebody else in the mix that didn't have to be in the mix in the first place. So that's where 135 is right now when it comes to undisputed. More of the champs hold the belts, which is good. but the politics is bad. Then 140 is pretty cut clear. Josh Taylor got them all, baby. 140, he cleaned out 140. And Tank Davis is the only other champion there, which is the regular belt holder. Okay, and then you got Alberto Puello, and then he has the interim. Okay, so that doesn't count. That's just the interim is just the way is a belt for that person to line himself up to fight the champion. That's really it. But 140 is pretty cut and chase right now. Now we got 147. We got three belt holders there. WBO held by Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. with the IBF and the WBC. And then we got the WBA is Yordenis Ugas. And then Jamal James is the WBA regular. Which I already said the 147 is scattered right now, but it's still close. An undisputed match is closer to be made at 147 than it would be at, like, let's say 130. You know what I mean? As far as, like I said, the belts are concerned. As far as the belt holders are concerned, like the amount of belts that one fighter has, you know. But 154 is one of my favorite divisions, man. Reason why I love 154 is because they get them fights done, man. They fight up there, bro. They don't never be talking all this other stuff, diva mess. They fight, bro. And you gotta respect that. And 154 is probably the closest we're gonna get to Undisputed, because Brian Castano and Jamel Charlo fought for Undisputed and ended up fighting to a draw. And they both have mandatories in front of them. So it looks like they're gonna have to take their mandos first if they don't want to offer step aside money. They're gonna have to take their mandos first, and then they're gonna end up seeing each other at the rematch for Undisputed, given that they both beat their mandatories. So that's where we at 154. So now we got 160, which is similar to goddamn 130 when it comes to the way things is looking as far as the belt holders. They're scattered. There's 4 champions holding each belt. And when you got shit like that going on, it makes it harder. The path for Undisputed is going to take longer. So we got Demetrius Andrade, and at 160 is much more different, because you got some duckers at 160 that don't want to fight. And that's why 160, that's going to be one of the toughest divisions that you're going to see Undisputed in, because you got Demetrius Andrade, WBO, Triple G, IBF, Murata is WBA, and Jamal Charlo's WBC. Okay, we're not talking about Canelo's franchise. None of that shit counts. These are the 4 belt holders. The main top dogs are those 4. But the problem with 160 is we have 2 duckers there, which are Jamal Charlo and Triple G. Triple G don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade or Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. So how the fuck are you going to get Undisputed if these dudes don't want to fight? Somebody's going to have to drop a belt and vacate, and then let somebody else fight for another title. That's the only way you're going to get Undisputed there, because these dudes don't want to fight. Okay? So that is why 160 is my least favorite division. And it will be until these dudes start growing some nuts and fight. And then we got 170, 168. We was about to see Undisputed there. That fell apart. That one is the easiest path to Undisputed, because you know, we got 2 belt holders. We got Canelo Alvarez holds 3 belts, and Caleb Plant holds the other one, the IBF. But that fight fell through because of divaism by no other than the catchweight king, Canelo Alvarez. So because of stupid little stipulations, and he wanted everybody to bow down to him, he just cost potentially an Undisputed fight. So we won't be seeing that yet, at least not now. Moving up to 175, we got 3 champions there. We got Artur Beterbiev holding the WBC and the IBF, Dmitry Bivol holding the WBA, and Joe Smith Jr. holding the WBO. Another one of those instances. Not too bad. It's like in the middle. Got 3 champs instead of 4. One person got 2 straps, and 2 other people got the other 2. The path to Undisputed with that is probably going to be slowed down a bit, because now we got Canelo Alvarez potentially. Well, I wouldn't say slowed down. It'll just be one belt will go to one fighter, pass from one to the other. So if Canelo beats Bivol, then it's just now Canelo has that belt that Bivol had. So it'll be the same thing. It'll just be Bivol will be removed from the WBA, and then Canelo will be put in his slot, and then we'll still have Joe Smith and Artur Beterbiev. And I don't know why Canelo didn't take the Beterbiev, but that's the situation we're looking at 175, man. And same thing with the cruiserweight. Ain't really nothing happening up there. Same with the cruiserweights. Then we got the heavyweights. Joshua holds 3 belts. Tyson Fury holds 1 belt. So the heavyweight division is the equivalent of pretty much the 135 division. We got a 1 champ with 3 belts and 1 champ with 1 belt. Same like Devin Haney and Teofimo. But the path for Undisputed is highly likely at the heavyweight division. Regardless, man, because if Tyson Fury loses his belt to Wilder, then Joshua beats Usyk, then we'll see if we can line up a fight with, Wilder and Joshua, right? Sounds easy, but I bet you it won't be. But if Tyson Fury beats Wilder, we're more than likely going to get that fight between Joshua and Fury sometime next year. That's definitely going to happen. And that would be an undisputed matchup, assuming Joshua doesn't lose to Usyk. So that's what we're looking at. And that is why it's very important for Terence Crawford and Errol Spence to do this, man, because, we got the way things are lining up in these other divisions, man. Besides, it only looks like, as far as undisputed matchups, it's gonna happen more than likely with heavyweight, 154, and 147. That's it. So Bud and Errol have to do this. It's important for their legacies. It's important for Errol Spence's legacy, because this will be his first division of being undisputed if he wins. It's very important for Terence Crawford. This will be his second weight class where he becomes undisputed. So he'll be a 2-time undisputed. Errol Spence will be a 1-time undisputed. Very important fight for these 2 brothers, man. That's why it needs to happen, because we don't want other people to get in the fray and potentially cause upsets, and then we don't see that fight. That's just where I'm at with it, man. Let me know what y'all think. It's Rebel Life Boxing. Catch y'all later.